I think the people who were here want to know, as just me, how do I contribute?
Well, the first thing is being very informed and showing up at public meetings, because as the old saying goes, those who show up get to decide. If you are present at the meeting, you have a chance of being in real command of the facts and not just taking your turn at the public hearing for an emotional tantrum at the microphone. You can actually stand up and say something constructive to your elected officials with a full command of the facts. So by being there, just having the conversation and being informed, you change the trend. Your citizen clout expands beyond your voter ID card by being present in the room on the nights when the big decisions are being made. And in advance of the big decisions, planning like tonight is significant because we weren't here to debate a single zoning case or a argument about the setbacks that somebody wanted a variance for, or some one parcel owner's land use or parking requirement, or one road widening project. We were here to talk about the whole thing before those little arguments on the small details occur, and that's really a powerful thing.
We've got county and we have city, and there's concern that they both maybe don't work together or haven't in the past as well as they could. You must have seen this in other jurisdictions you've worked in.
Well, sure.
How does the public encourage them to work together and to listen to nights like tonight?
Well, I would add to your list and say you've also got the state, because one of your big partners in placemaking or place wrecking can be the State Department of Transportation, for example. So it really isn't even just the two nesting pieces of local government, it's also your regional and state government, as well as the federal government. They all have a hand in this, so they're all got to be working in partnership, and it's all too rare. Having said that, I've been in and out of Beaufort County often enough, working on the town plan for Port Royal or the Boundary Street plan and the like, to feel pretty confident that your local governments are working more closely in sync than most in our dysfunctional country. For example, when we did the plan for the old town in Bluffton, county officials were in on it. They talked to us about it. They brought up the county big picture issues. Here's the answer. The citizens that were in this room tonight, they have a voter ID card which recognizes them as having a say in the elections at the city of Beaufort level if they're in the incorporated town, and in the county. And that means that the boss, the citizen voter, needs to tell the employee, those elected officials and the staff members that they appoint, what they want. There's an old principle in human resources management that says keep your boss's boss off your boss's back. Okay, the boss here is the owners of those streets, the owners of the public lands and the public trust, and that's the citizens. So we have to use that power, not just on election day, but in between. So we're telling our elected officials, that was a mistake, do that again, and I'm not going to vote for you, or even better, say, here is what I want, not just what I don't want.
Well, you know this area well. My final question is, if you could voice your vision for what Ladies Island could become, what would it be?
Well, I think the challenge of Ladies Island has always been this thin gruel of sprawl development, which seems to want to ooze over all of the land, a little bit here and a little bit there, spreading out like peanut butter over the whole space. You can't do that, because if you allow that process to continue, it's very corrosive. You won't have an island that you recognize anymore. You'll have development. It might not be development you can actually support the high cost of delivering municipal services to. It's the nightmare scenario. And that version of the future would not be good for the maximizing the value to the longtime owners and their families either. It would be a lot better to say, this is town and that is country. And in town, we deliberately, on purpose, because we're the human species and this is what human beings do, bringing things closer together so we can walk and they have positive impacts on one another. And what I mean by that is the buildings are closer together on a main street at a crossroads in a village center, for example. The land uses are more intensified and the dwellings are denser in their size. If you did that in the town part, you would absorb a ton of the growth that otherwise is going to little houses situated far apart from one another on large lots and the far-flung developments. And you would be channeling the development pressure that's here anyway into a form that makes the town better and keeps the countryside.
So Ladies Island could be a little town as opposed to a crossroads with a bunch of big box stores.
Well, I think that Ladies Island is more than just the intersection of Sam's Point Road and Sea Island Parkway. That space lends itself to being more like a village center where things are deliberately brought together. There are a lot of other parts of the island that are either wide open spaces and are beautiful as that, or are suburban subdivisions and are fine like that. But you don't necessarily need to take all of the remaining space and make it into more suburban subdivisions, and all of the crossroads area and make it into automobile-oriented buildings poking out of parking lots. It'd be a lot better to realize that maybe it was one island, but it has a lot of personalities. And the answer is know where you are and build that way there. And if you're in the country part, that doesn't mean paving everything. And if you're in the village center part, that means don't be embarrassed about bringing your ice cream shop close to my dress shop and my neighbor's hotel rooms. Those things being close together help each other, and they're close together. That's not exactly a vision. I guess I would add, but it's the start. I would add one more thing. Remember, Ladies Island, maybe an island, but it is intensely connected to the rest of your regional system of place and ecosystem. So this isn't just about the future of Ladies Island. This conversation you're having is about what it's like to live on or be on St. Helena. How historic resources there in agriculture, in culture, and in dwelling, as well as in the natural systems. St. Helena's fate is tied up in whether you do a good job or bad job on Ladies Island. And similarly for the city of Beaufort, Ladies Island is more relaxed than downtown in the historic area, and that's perfectly appropriate. It's like the garden is to the house. The Ladies Island, wide open spaces and green and open sky, is to the compact settlement of the old town. Why not? That's an appropriate difference. That Ladies Island doesn't have to be like either the more remote islands or like the old city. It can have its own personality.
Thank you.